Oh, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. Okay, here we are sitting at about $102,000. A little bit of a pullback to start off the day, haven't we? Start off the week even. We have about 8 hours and 58 minutes left, and if we see on the daily time frame here, we have not only dipped down quite a bit, but we actually pulled back quite a bit. With this kind of look, you guys, it's fully acceptable to expect that Bitcoin could close not just at this prices or higher, but we could potentially be closing above 105 or 106,000 today. You never know, man. With stuff like this, we genuinely could go all the way up and see new all-time highs today. There's 8 hours and 57 minutes left. How far would we have to go in that amount of time to see new all-time highs? 7.2%. Now that's a tall order for Bitcoin. Most days it has a problem opening and closing that amount, but there are times when we can see it pick up its pace and rally itself, right? I don't expect that we'll be at new all-time highs by the end of today, but I certainly don't expect that we're going to be at new relative lows, right? I very much do expect that we bounce here. We're going to find support and move higher. If we take our relative low here to our relative high, you can see that we actually found, you know what's crazy? A lot of coins recently, like on this dip recently, if not dips prior, I've been seeing a lot of coins finding support at their 0.5. That's not a common fib, and the 0.5 is actually not a fib at all. It's not common to find support there, but I often say when you do get significance there, you get significant results. You normally don't find significance here, but when you do, you get significant results, and that's a nice bounce. That's actually very classic, kind of iconic of a bounce in this area. My kind of logic or theory behind why you get these bounces here is because, again, you're not expected to bounce here. So if you bounce here, that must mean there's either A, less selling pressure than anticipated, or B, there's more buying pressure than anticipated, or C, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, right? So it's a very bullish thing, and whenever you can't get to the expected zone, your golden ratio, anytime you reach for it but you just can't get there, that normally does promote a very bullish reaction. So I'm assuming this right here, obviously we're in this whole kind of range here, but I would almost look at this as a fake out, man. I would look at this as a fake out, and in fact, what this is a breakout of this diamond pattern, and I actually pointed this out in the Discord. I just remembered I pointed this out in the Discord. If you look at this pattern, okay, first off, the diamond itself, I was assuming was this right here. And maybe it is, maybe it's not, maybe we broke out and then slowly, sometimes you do this and then you choose your breakout. It's this weird kind of little thing, but we've done this before with Bitcoin, very similar. I want you to painfully engrave this into your retinas. Turn up your brightness, leave the screen on, stare at it. Don't actually do that. Please don't. I know some of you guys are just like, you're like, okay, challenge accepted, bet. No, don't do that. Please don't hurt yourself. But I think considering this whole thing as the diamond, diamonds don't have to be pretty. People think, you hear diamond pattern, you think it has to be this pretty pattern. Diamonds are actually very ugly patterns normally, right? It can be an ugly pattern. I want to go back to the last time we saw this, right? This little part, remember that, okay? Remember that. We're going to go back in time. And then remember what we did afterwards. Okay, we got to go back to April. We got to go back to April. I think it was April of 2024. It could have been April of 2023. Let's just see. We got to go way, way back here on the 4 hour. January, February, March, April, May. So there's May. Where is it? Somewhere over here. It would have to be either that or it's in April of 2023. And that might be the case. I don't see it here. I don't think. Yeah, it would be obvious if it was over here. So let's keep going. Maybe it is April of 2023. Let's go all the way back. All the way. Right? It was. I think it was. It was in the beginning of the bull market. So that would be April 2023. April. Here it is. Perfect. You can see it, right? You can see it. If you can't see it, let me help you. Right here. Right? Isn't it ugly and just beautiful at the same time, this diamond pattern right here? It's perfect, and it's got this little funnel at the end. Same thing. Now pay attention to what we did this time. We broke out to the upside. It's a very similar kind of breakout move, right? I'm going to leave this here. And we're going to pull up BTC USD here, okay, and look at it on the 4 hour time frame. It's actually very similar, this breakout move, right? You can see it here, the diamond pattern, but you broke out to the downside, and just look at the way that it broke out. Look at how this broke out here in this relative diamond pattern. It's very similar. It's just to the opposite effect. Diamond patterns are known for high velocity breakout moves, and they're also notorious for pulling back through the breakout point, and sometimes even completely reversing where the breakout happened. In other words, a breakout to the upside is not indicative that you will continue to the upside. Rather, you'll have a quick pump to the upside and then start a trend to the downside. Okay, now same kind of logic. But to the downside, diamond patterns are notorious for high velocity moves that then pull back past the breaking point, okay? This doesn't mean that we have to go higher. Of course, we could go lower afterwards. Diamond pattern breakouts are known for volatility, and doesn't that make sense? Because the pattern itself is just super volatile, super volatile. Even in the time where it's tight, it's just going up and down and up and down. You know, it's just a very volatile pattern. So it makes sense that the breakout might be volatile too. You've got all this pent up aggression. Of course, you're going to let it out at Mach 7. Just because we get back above the breakout point doesn't mean we're going to go to new all-time highs, though I think it does. I think that we will. I personally think that finding support at 100K is a very sound level psychologically and from a price perspective to find support on. It's the center of this zone overall. When you bounce off the center, you don't normally do that, but if you do, you get significant moves, right? And we're getting a significant bounce now. That's a lot of volume to happen. I expect nothing less than by the end of today, we are closing above $105,000. Guess what? If we close at 104 or 103, and we don't see 105,000 by the end of today, we will see it tomorrow. I was wrong. That doesn't mean Bitcoin's broken. I'm not God. I'm not a prophet. Nothing I say is written in stone tablets, okay? It's just thoughts. It's just ideas. And my thought is that we will be above 105K today. If that thought's wrong, tomorrow then. But very soon, we'll be back above where we just broke out. Crypto will recover. And I suspect that by the end of this week, you guys, Bitcoin will not just be at new all-time highs, but will likely be pressing prices around 120K or higher by the end of this week. This week just started. We have 6 days and 9 hours left. In the next 6 days and 9 hours, I'm expecting new all-time high breakout moves. I think it could start today. As ironic as it is, this down move is the beginning of our next up move, right? Just like this one was right here, just like that fake out was right there, right? Just like this one was. This down move was the beginning of our next up move, just like this one was, right? I'm just saying. We tend to get these, like, especially big wicks, but this kind of stuff is reminiscent to me of continuation. We likely do get continuation. Looking at the daily RSI, we've got higher lows here, relatively speaking. I need to change the color scheme. I don't know why it keeps changing back. Leaf, if you're watching this, man, I tried. I really did try to change it, but it keeps changing back. I even saved it. I'm gonna try and make this pop a little bit so people can see it. Let's see, what would help that pop? Well, definitely not orange. Red, ooh, red kind of, yeah. Purple-ish, blue, yeah, there we go. That'll do it. Okay, but we're at this area. I think that helps it pop. I don't know, guys. Hit me with your color schemes. I'll make the RSI for you. Higher low here, likely going to bounce off the 50. Even if today closes green, and if it does close to green, we're not going to bounce off the 50. The RSI, right? Because today it's here, it's right here. But yesterday the RSI closed right there. So if the day closes green, it won't be pointed down, it'll be pointed up. We won't get a bounce off the 50, rather we'd get a bounce off the 54, but that's fine. That's fine. Bouncing above the 50, we can bounce below the 50. We can find resistance just above the 50. It doesn't have to be perfect, okay? But I do think that this next move would likely get us into the overbought zone. And when we start getting overbought readings in the daily RSI, you guys, that's when we do stuff like this. That's whenever we see our next move up. And it would make sense to me. I'll end the video on this note. Okay, something that we haven't compared in a second, but a lot of people have been comparing. It would make sense to me that if we're in the midst of our next move up, it might look something like this. It might look something like this. It might look something like this. And to me, I don't know about you guys, but this move here, it looks identical to this move here. We just don't have the second part. We have the move up and the consolidation. We have the move up and the consolidation. This next part likely takes us to at least 140K or higher. I expect by the end of this week, we'll be around 120K or higher. Okay, maybe even 130K. You never know. But by the end of February, by going into March, I suspect we'll be well above 140K, potentially as high as 180K, something like that. Do not get shaken out here at 101.7K. And that's all I got for you. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.